Aaron Ingram took pole in Laguna Seca after a fantastic lap in qualifying. Unfortunately, a disconnect before the race forced him to withdraw, promoting Ender Farrell to pole and granting him a free front row in front of Johnny McMullen and Evan Naylor, who line up on the second row of the grid. A no-show for Mark Wall promotes Damien McMullen onto the third row, and both Mark Ivory and TJ Baker are boosted to row 4 in the absence of Robert Fleming. Rob Parks will start on row 5 in the place of David Freeman, with the round 1 winner Ronan Doherty lining up next to Keith McLaughlin on the final row of the grid. Hello ladies and gentlemen, very welcome to Laguna Seca for round 2 of the RTA iRacing GT3 Progression Series, brought to you by absolutely no one apart from me. We're away now for the formation lap. All the drivers are going to be warming up their tyres behind the Porsche iRacing safety car as we look at Nathan Healy in his snazzy liveried, oh goodness me, Damien McMullen has managed to go off at the first corner. Oh no, he's spun. Damien McMullen has just spun on the first corner of the first lap, which isn't actually a lap. There you have it, folks. Join us next time for even more banterous shenanigans. Here's a replay of Damien McMullen's incident, and, well, I mean, that is just the most emasculating thing that I have ever witnessed. They say turn 1 is quite tricky. The Andretti hairpin, well, turn 2 is the corner that he spun at. Turn 1 is the left-hander kink at, well, just after the start-finish line. The Andretti hairpin is quite complicated. It's a very technical corner, double apex left-hander, full 180 degrees, and if you're coming out the pits, it's a bit more difficult, but I've never ever seen someone spin there doing less than 50 kilometers an hour on a formation lap. But I mean, hey, there's a first time for everything. We go up to the corkscrew now on the formation lap still, so I mean, it's absolutely riveting content here. Almost 2.5 minutes in and we still haven't gone green, so I mean, there you go, as they all navigate their way down through the corkscrew. Thankfully no one spun there, Damien. And now they make their way through turn that was turn 9, the Rainy Curve, which is a very interesting name, and now through turn 10. I'm a bit disappointed at Laguna Seca, I have to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, because there's only about 3 or 4 corners that have names. Anyways, we are about to go green. The safety car has pulled into the pits, and as they round the final corner, who's on pole? Goodness me, I don't know anything. Ender Farrell goes away. Green flag racing now as we look at Damien McMullen, MrSpinMeUp.com. Obviously doing his best Sebastian Vettel imitation as TJ Baker has got past Mark Ivory into turn 2, and Rob Parks is having a right good ding-dong with oh goodness me, I can't remember any of the names, with Doherty there. And Keith McLaughlin is going to be bringing up the rear through turn 3 as Doherty has gone incredibly wide, and Keith McLaughlin is bringing up the rear no more as Rob Parks is going up the inside of Ivory now through turn 4, and that's a hook, line and sinker manoeuvre for Parks in the 111 Lamborghini. What is it, Huracan? Yes, it is a Huracan. I was about to say Aventador. That is wrong. And he is now chasing down Andrew Murphy as we look at the 2 leaders. Johnny McMullen has just, well, I mean, he vanished there for a moment. There was some extraterrestrial. Oh, he's gone again. Deary me. Johnny McMullen has ceased to exist, apparently, at the top of the corkscrew, so I'm not sure what's gone on there with his orange and blue Ferrari. As we now look at Damien McMullen, yes, again, we're just going to look out and see if he spins anywhere. He's the most likely bet for a bit of drama in the first few laps. Obviously, he has a great relationship with turn 2, so we'll be keeping a very close eye on him coming in to lap number 2. As Andrew Murphy there has gone a little bit wide at the exit of the final corner. That's going to compromise his run, and he's going to be under attack from, who is that behind him? I'm not quite sure, but he's going to be vulnerable coming into turn 2 now. As we look into the background, it's Mark Ivory who's sat behind him, but he's not going to make any moves into turn 2. He's running a little bit wide, Mark Ivory, and he's going to be a bit vulnerable to Keith McLaughlin as we look at TJ Baker, who's chasing down Nathan Healy as they come through turn 3 and turn 4 now. Nothing quite happening just yet in this race, but there's still plenty of time for some drama. We're only 5 minutes in. It is a 40-minute race after all, as Mark Ivory is chasing down Andrew Murphy, who made a mistake on the final corner, if you'll remember. And this could be a very good ding-dong battle up until... Oh, goodness me, as soon as I say that, Mark Ivory has speared it off into the barriers on the inside of Turn 5. I can only apologise to him for the commentator's curse there. That was... Well, I mean, it was incredibly ignorant of me to assume that as soon as I mentioned that it could be a good battle that he spins out. We're going to have to take another look at that on a replay at some stage, as we look at TJ Baker now, who's 0.4 of a second behind Nathan Healy as they come through Turn 10 and down towards Turn 11. It's quite an easy corner to run wide at Turn 11 if you miss your braking point. It's not a lot of ways to gather it back up. Here's a replay. Oh, goodness me. This happened just a moment ago. Keith McLaughlin running into the back of Andrew Murphy and just being absolutely sent off down the escape road on the entry to Turn 10, but he has got going again. Here's a replay of what happened to Mark Ivory. He just ran wide on the exit of 5, and then that just sent him straight into the barriers, nose first, and he had to spin it round a full 270 degrees, which is very unfortunate for him. He's in last place now, I do believe, which is going to be very disappointing, but there's still plenty of time to make back those positions in this race. We are only, well, just shy of 7 minutes in, as we now look at TJ Baker, who's still chasing down Nathan Healy as they come up to Turn 6. Just need to take a sip of water, folks, just bear with me. Delicious. It's not actually water, it's vodka. Now, TJ Baker, as he comes down into the corkscrew, 7A and 7B. Oh no, never mind, it's not actually 7 at all, nor is it A or B. It's Turn 8 and Turn 8A, which is a very interesting way of labelling the corkscrew. We will refer to it from the corkscrew and nothing else from here on out. TJ Baker is, he's not doing much, so I'm not sure. There's probably a better battle somewhere else. As we look at the cars following each other all the way up the main start-finish straight into Turn 1. Oh, look at that camera angle. That's absolutely fantastic. Get a great sense of speed there coming through Turn 1. And now as they come down into Turn 2, TJ Baker navigating it nicely, taking a late apex out of Turn 2 to try and give himself a better run to defend from Damien McMullen, who's behind him. Although Damien McMullen, if he continues his antics of spinning at Turn 2, shouldn't pose much of a threat to Baker, as he's still chasing down Healy, who is dropped slightly back from Evan Naylor in 3rd position. He's 2 seconds behind him, which is certainly not ideal, but there's, like I said, plenty of time still left to gain that time back, and who knows, there is plenty of time for Nathan Healy to possibly make a mistake. I won't jinx it. I certainly won't implement the commentator's curse. I've already done that once this race, and I don't really want to do it again. Whoops. Oh, goodness me, I've just whacked the microphone with the water bottle. Apologies there for... Oh, goodness me. Andrew Murphy has spun on the exit of Turn 6 there, coming onto the Rahal straight, and he's gone straight into the inside barrier there. He just got a tyre in the gravel, a tyre in the gutter, and that was enough to send him round in his McLaren. He's the only McLaren racing in this series, and, well, I mean, you have to say, it doesn't look to be an easy car to drive if we're to believe that he is a particularly quick driver, which, well, I mean, in fairness, he hasn't particularly showed his pace this season so far, but there's still, I think, 2 or 3 rounds left for him to maybe gain back some points, as TJ Baker is really coming under pressure now from McMullen as they follow each other through Turn 2. Oh my goodness me, I cannot speak. I literally cannot speak. Why am I don't know why I'm commentating this. I don't know why I'm bothering. You're probably better off just to listen to the engine sounds, because clearly I'm just the worst esports announcer that the world has ever seen. Anyways, McMullen following Baker through Turn 6 now, and he seems to have a decent run. So could there be a move coming up into the corkscrew? Baker throws up a little bit of dust into McMullen's face. McMullen tight to his bumper behind him, but there's no room for a move coming in to the corkscrew, and they just have to continue line astern through Turn 9 and 10 as Rob Parks behind them 4 seconds back is going to be looking at this and licking his lips, because he's going to be thinking that there's possibly 2 positions on offer, both of them BMWs. And as we saw in round 1, TJ Baker in his BMW and Rob Parks in his Lamborghini Huracan seem to be fairly matched on pace. They were certainly at Alton Park. As to how much the track comes into play with that, only the drivers can tell me, but they don't because I don't ask. Now, TJ Baker is 1.5 seconds behind Nathan Healy, so falling back ever so slightly. Healy just running his own race as we now ride on board with Damien McMullen in the number 99 Fleet ID BMW. Very striking livery, it has to be said, almost as striking as, well, if not more striking than TJ Baker's Williams Formula 1 livery. Both of them equally as cool, but Damien McMullen slightly more eye-catching, but not as eye-catching, however, as the Logitech green Lamborghini car that you just saw in the frame there of Evan Naylor, who's currently running in P3, as TJ Baker's made a slight mistake. He's pushed Damien McMullen onto the dust on the inside line, but there's nothing that Damien McMullen can do coming up into the corkscrew. That running, oh goodness me, TJ Baker's gone, he's absolutely made a dog's dinner of the corkscrew, and straight away Damien McMullen says, thank you very much, son, I'll be taking that position away from you. You just enjoy having some gravel in your Beamer. And, well, Damien McMullen certainly didn't need to be asked twice about taking that position, as Rob Parks is, oh goodness me, a little bit of dust kicked up there by Nathan Healy. He ran wide at the final corner of turn 11, and Damien McMullen flashing him for some reason on the start-finish straight. Whether he thinks that 12 minutes in there's lapped cars already, I don't know. But we saw similar antics from Baker last time out, where he was, was it Baker or was it? Yes, it was. It was Baker who was flashing at Parks, trying to get him to get out of the way, despite him not being a lapped car at all. So, the race is pretty boring thus far, but we'll just keep talking nonetheless with my trusty water bottle, of which I shall have another swig. Absolutely delicious. This video is sponsored by Irish Water, giving you water and, well, I mean, not doing an awful lot else apart from charging for it in some circumstances, but it's absolutely ridiculous. But enough of the politicism. We have Damien McMullen looking at a move on Nathan Healy there, 13 minutes in, and already there's some fairly electric racing going on. It's absolutely, oh goodness me, well the words escape me, but it's absolutely electric stuff here as they round the final corner and come onto the start-finish straight. It's going to be an absolute slipstream fest into turn 1. TJ Baker's going to be looking for a move around the outside as they go through turn 1. He switches and tries to go to the inside, but it's just not going to work for him. Damien McMullen occupying that inside line through turn 1, and that's just really not an option for TJ Baker this time round. He had a little peek up the inside coming through turn 2 as well, but that's, well, it's never going to work out, especially with Damien McMullen in front of you, driving that tight line through the Andretti hairpin as they come through turn 4 now. And Damien McMullen just sticking to the bumper of Nathan Healy, 0.3 of a second between them, but he has got a 0.2 second gap back to TJ Baker, so he's going to be looking through his windscreen, staring at the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 car, whilst also staring at the rear view camera and looking straight at his fellow BMW teammate of TJ Baker as they come through the corkscrew now. It's all nice and organised as they come through turn 8, and Rob Parks following behind, 3.5 seconds between Baker and Parks, which is a lengthening gap, but I mean TJ Baker is going to be pushing quite significantly, trying to get past Damien McMullen and Nathan Healy as he's going for a move up the inside of turn 11. Now, is he going to get the move done? Yes, he is. Up the inside of Damien McMullen. It's like a game of chess. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Who is going to take the most pieces from the other driver on this occasion? It is TJ Baker, who will now be hunting down Nathan Healy, who has taken this opportunity to extend his gap to about half a second there as they come through turn 2. TJ Baker, very, well, I'm not sure what I was going to say there, but oh, goodness me, Damien McMullen getting ever so close to tagging the back of Baker there. But, I mean, it seems to be very, very elastic bandy between Baker and McMullen. One catching up, then falling behind, then overtaking, then falling behind again, then catching up. It's absolutely, I mean, it's like ping pong. Are we racing or ping pong? Are we doing racing or ping pong? Who knows at this stage? Are we even talking in intelligible English? Well, I mean, that would be a start, wouldn't it? As we're on 15, well, I was going to say we're on lap 15, we're not on lap 15, but we are 15 minutes into this race as we come through the corkscrew yet again, this time with Baker in front of McMullen. We have been staring at these cars for about 10 minutes now, so it's starting to get a little bit boring as they come through turn. Oh, just as I say that, Andrew Murphy has sent it into the barriers on the exit of turn 4. Well, it's not quite the exit, it's the mid-corner of turn 4. Let's see what happened here. He's coming through with, Aaron Ingram, and he just turns in, tags the left rear of Aaron Ingram, and that just sends him straight into the barriers backwards, although he did get a bit of a bump from the barriers, which sort of pushed him forward straight into the gravel trap and gave him a bit of a boost in getting going again. So, I mean, count your blessings. Now, back to the Baker-McMullen battle. It's the Great British Baker-Off. I'll stop. I'm terribly sorry. That was probably the worst pun that you will hear this side of the Mississippi. And that was a terrible metaphor as well, as I close the water bottle, because this race is going on the other side of the Mississippi from where we are. So on either side of the Mississippi, this is probably the worst commentary that you will hear, as Andrew Murphy is coming into the pits, presumably to repair damage to his car, as Aaron Ingram has got it all sorts of wrong on the exit of turn 3, and that sent him straight off, and he's come back onto the track at turn 4 and immediately spun it, just overloading those tyres, and they couldn't keep up, and now he has to spin it round, flick it round, and carry on his way in last position, which is certainly not what he would have wanted. That rear end of that Ferrari is really not looking too happy. Now back to Baker and McMullen, because this is, oh goodness me, look at this, McMullen going up the inside of Baker. He's pushed him wide ever so slightly through the apex, but it's not going to work out for Damien Damo McMullen, who is now going to be chased down by Rob Parks. Less than a second between them, and this could prove to be a feisty enough battle between Parks and McMullen, as Rob Parks running quite wide through turn 2 there, missing the apex, well, missing the second apex there by probably about a metre or two, so taking a little bit too much speed there, but using up all of the exit curb, on the exit of 3, as TJ Baker appears to have put a tile, no. TJ Baker, the roofer, apparently, is putting tiles down everywhere. Now, Damien McMullen trying to go around the outside of TJ Baker, coming into turn 6. It's not going to work out. That was never going to work out. Moves into turn 6, tend to end in either tears or blood, one of the two, as they come through the corkscrew now. Rob Parks very nearly writing off that camera on the apex of the entry to the corkscrew, as look at this now. I can't see what's happening, but I wish I could. TJ Baker seemed to run a little bit wide there through turn 9, and that left him a little bit vulnerable to McMullen, but McMullen seemed to take a little bit too much apex curb on 10, and that could have left him vulnerable to Rob Parks if Parks hadn't made a mistake, as we now have the two leaders here. That took a moment to register. Johnny McMullen and Ender Farrell battling for the lead now through turns 3 and 4. They're side by side. Can McMullen take the lead away from Farrell? No, he cannot, and he is going to have to live to fight another day, but he seems to have a good run on Farrell. He moves to the outside, coming down towards turn 5. There's just not enough overspeed for him, and he slots in behind Farrell, but Farrell taking a tighter line there on the entry, so that could lead to a possible run through turn 6 and up the Rahal straight. Alas, we will not see it. Well, certainly not yet anyway, because we are back looking at Damien McMullen. I tell you what, I didn't realise just how much Damien McMullen, Rob Parks and TJ Baker feature in this up until now, even though I did edit it before doing this, obviously. So, Damien McMullen is still chasing down TJ Baker, and Rob Parks is still chasing down Damien McMullen, and despite the fact that there is a almost minuscule gap between them, there is very little happening other than a very hungry Caterpillar train emerging, as Damien McMullen very nearly came close to the back of TJ Baker there, and TJ Baker seemed to have missed the apex curb ever so slightly through turn 10, and that's going to leave Damien McMullen looking for a move around the outside of turn 11, but it's not going to work. Will he get the switch back? He's certainly trying. They're going to be attempting to go side by side. It's very difficult to see from this camera angle. TJ Baker remains ahead, but by the skin of his teeth, and coming down into turn 2. Damien McMullen moves to the inside. Is he going to go for a move? Surely not. Oh, he's just backed out of it at the last possible moment and slotted in behind Baker. And that could have been a very, very messy move if McMullen had kept his nose in. But he saw sense coming through turn 2, which is, well, probably the first time this race. Well, it is the first time this race. It's the second time since he started the car engine. But anyways, that's by. We'll stop bullying Damien McMullen for spinning on the formation lap at the slowest speed that I've ever seen a car spin at. And anyway, they come up through turn 6. So yeah, we'll leave that one there. And well, we will until next time, where we will inevitably bring it back up again and use it to discredit Damo. Anyways, coming through turns 9 and 10. A little bit of oversteer there for Damien McMullen through turn 9. And he's looking up the inside into turn 10, but that's never going to work out for him. Well, I mean, it might work out, but you'd just have to use the other car as a brake, which certainly wouldn't impress the stewards in any way, shape or form, as TJ Baker is still maintaining that lead, trying to weave around to break the slipstream, but Damien McMullen not having it in the slightest as they come through turn 1 and down towards turn 2. 55 metres of elevation change on this track. 18 of those are at the corkscrew. So, I mean, it's going to be a fair amount of ear popping going on for the drivers. Or at least there would be if they weren't in simulators. Damien McMullen maybe going to have an opportunity now into turn 5 after TJ Baker put a wheel on the dusty, well, is it sand, is it who knows what it is, but it is certainly a dusty substance on the outside of the track. And as they flow through turn 6, there's still no chance for Damien McMullen, but he's trying to go up the inside into the corkscrew. Surely this is not going to work for him. They're side by side. Is he going to back out? Is he going to keep his foot in? He hasn't backed out, and neither has TJ Baker. And it's clean, hard, but fair racing there between the two BMWs. And you have to say, a move into the corkscrew is something to behold. But alas, on this occasion, it is not to be for Damien McMullen, as we are just over halfway through this race, and he's going up the inside of turn 11. Surely not, and it hasn't worked out for him. But TJ Baker running slightly wide there, getting on the dusty AstroTurf as they come up through turn 1 and now down into turn 2. Is Damien McMullen going to go for a move for the second lap in succession? No, he's not. He's just not close enough. And Rob Parks is going to be thinking, I can get something out of this, as Damien McMullen seems to gain a lot through the second apex of turn 2. And now just following TJ Baker through turn 3 and turn 4. He's been following him for probably about 10 laps. And not an awful lot happening, but we will just continue to talk. Oh, look at this now. We're actually seeing another car, which is remarkable. Oh, never mind. Oh, yes, we are. We're seeing Ender Farrell battling with Johnny McMullen. Well, I mean, he's not exactly battling, but there's certainly a hot pursuit going on there for McMullen, who is 0.5 of a second behind Ender Farrell. And, well, this could prove to be a tasty battle indeed, especially for the championship standings. Oh, never mind, because we're looking at Oh, here we go again. It's like Mamma Mia 2. Here we go again. Ender Farrell defending from Johnny McMullen. This could prove crucial for the standings. Ender Farrell with a podium last time out in Alton Park. Johnny McMullen, a no-show from him, or was it? No, he was certainly there, because I remember seeing the livery, but I'm not sure if he scored any points or not. As we ride on board with Ender Farrell now. They come through turn 4. A lovely sounding engine in that number 7 BMW car, which is liveried like a JCB, but it is a lot faster than one, let me assure you of that, and we can see that by the fact that he is leading the race by 0.4 of a second now to Johnny McMullen as they come up to turn 6. Johnny McMullen just going to be continuing to follow at this stage. It looks like there doesn't look to be any aggression in his driving whatsoever. Seems to be just slipstreaming the BMW, maybe saving a little bit of fuel for later on in the race. In that number 10 Ferrari car with the blue roof and the orange rest of it, which is certainly an interesting livery choice. Not many sponsors, well, there's no sponsors whatsoever on it, which is certainly a rarity, but nonetheless. Oh, look at that. Ender Farrell running a little bit wide, and that could leave Johnny McMullen with an opportunity going up the hill through turn 1 and down the hill into turn 2, but I don't think there's going to be any room for a move coming into 2. You can see there, Ender Farrell just using all of the, well, not all of it, but certainly a significant proportion more than a lot of other drivers in the entry curb to turn 2. Johnny McMullen had a look there on the exit of 2 coming into 3, but nothing's going to work for him, and look at how close he is in the rear view mirror there. But nothing going to come of it so far. Laguna Seca, a very difficult track to pass at, despite the fact that there's 11 corners and 3.6 kilometres of track to do it. And could this be the section of track where Johnny McMullen goes for it? Certainly not. Coming into turn 6, that's just not going to work out for him, and he's seen sense. But coming up to the corkscrew, he's exceptionally close to Ender Farrell. Is he going to go up the inside? No, he's not. Is he going to try and go around the outside, I wonder? Well, he's going to try, but he's going to fail, because that's a almost impossible move, and he's got it all kinds of wrong on the exit of the corkscrew. And, well, he's fallen quite a way back now as we look at Ronan Doherty, who is battling, well, he's not battling with Andrew Murphy. He appears to be lapping him, which is certainly not what Andrew Murphy would have wanted from the man who won last time out in Alton Park in a commanding display of driving, it has to be said. If you didn't see that video, then, oh, goodness me, hard into the barriers, Aaron Ingram. I'm not sure what happened there. I saw a car go off in the background, and then we saw Aaron Ingram just fly face first into the barriers, which is, oh, goodness me, there's a car gone off there. It's Andrew Murphy, which is, I mean, he is 2 laps down. How is he 2 laps down? I do not know. Let's take another look at that. A slow motion replay of Aaron Ingram. I'm not sure what's happened there. The car has just started going straight through the mid corner, and it's just not decelerated at all, and hard into the barrier for that Ferrari car with the cursed livery. I don't know, maybe that caused the collision. Did the cursed face livery of Aaron Ingram cause him to crash face first into the barriers? Leave that in the comments below. Do you believe that? Or do you believe that it was some kind of a technical failure? I'm going to believe the face conspiracy, because that is more interesting. Ender Farrell now leading Johnny McMullen by just shy of 2 seconds, and Johnny McMullen with a comfortable lead to Evan Naylor, who's in 3rd position in his green Logitech liveried. Oh, look at this! Johnny McMullen has come into the pits now for his mandatory pit stop on, well, minute 28 out of 40. So almost 3/4 of this race gone already, which is just absolutely remarkable. Time really does fly when you're having fun, talking about people behind their backs, as Rob Parks comes through turn 5 in his green and grey liveried Lamborghini. Rob Parks still doesn't appear to be wearing any fireproofs, just driving gloves. So, I mean, the stewards clearly haven't talked to him about that. I mean, they really should. I don't think he was wearing any driving shoes either. I think he might have just been barefoot or wearing pink socks or something, because, well, I mean, if it is fireproofs, then there's certainly an exceptionally close colour to his skin tone as he laps Andrew Murphy. And, well, Andrew Murphy having a torrid time right the way down at the back of the pack. 2 laps down, and a full lap down from Mark Ivory, I do believe, which is certainly not what you want to see. Rob Parks coming down now into turn 2, running quite wide there. He seems to like taking a late apex through turn 2 on the exit. And I'm not sure if that Lamborghini is a inherently understeery car, as he's gone off on the exit of turn 3 there, but he's gathered it all together with some very quick reactions and some skillful driving there from Parks, which you have to say is to be expected of the man in the 111 RTA sponsored Lamborghini. Very little happening in this race so far, folks. I mean, I seem to remember it being a lot more exciting when I was editing it, but, I mean, hey-ho, there you go. This is the nature of endurance racing. It is a waiting game, And unfortunately, it's not like sprint races where it's action, 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 as Andrew Murphy has absolutely sent it, as has Keith McLaughlin, over the corkscrew there. And Andrew Murphy seems to have lost his entire bonnet as he's doing Tokyo Drift through turn 9, which is certainly not the right way to take the corner. And that McLaren is absolutely mangled at the front end. Look at that. That is going to be an absolute pain of a car to drive. He dives into the pits as you have to. I mean, the car is in an absolute state. Just look at that. Here's a replay of what happened to him. What did happen to him is a good question. Oh, dearie me. Just oversteer on the entry. He seemed to get caught out by either the weight transfer of the car or maybe the rears locked ever so slightly on him. And that just speared him off into the barrier. Here's Keith McLaughlin cutting across the corkscrew and right the way down the gravel embankment of 18 metres, which is the equivalent of about 3 stories as far as I have been told. Now as we cut on to minute 31 out of 40, looking once again at Damien McMullen in the BMW car. He's being chased down by Rob Parks, who's 1.1 seconds away from him in P7. And Ronan Doherty is just up the road from him, well, 14 seconds up the road from him in P5. And you have to say it's a remarkable performance from Doherty to go from last on the grid to P5. And, well, I mean, he's obviously capitalised on the mistakes of those around him while not making any mistakes of his own, which is precisely what we saw in Alton Park as he led the race from pole. I think he lost the lead for a number of seconds before gaining it back again. But you have to say, very consistent from Ronan Doherty to get all the way up to P4 now. So obviously someone's come into the pits in front. I'm not sure who, or he might have passed someone. I'm not sure who that might have been though. It could have been Nathan Healy, who is now down in P5. Ronan Doherty up into P4 as Damien McMullen rounds turn 3 and turn 4 under the Firestone Bridge. This video not sponsored by Firestone. Unfortunately, if it was, we'd probably all be rich and driving real cars. Ronan Doherty is currently chasing down, who's that in front? I think it's Mark Ivory. It is Mark Ivory, the lapped runner, running in second to last position, which is certainly not what he wants, but that is how the cards have fallen today for Ivory. And he gets out of the way of Ronan Doherty in a textbook manoeuvre, so obviously he's taken my advice from the last episode and he's emailed Rob Parks about lessons in getting lapped. So maybe I'll have to get in contact with Mark Ivory and ask him how much it cost him, because I could probably do with those lessons as well. Now Ronan Doherty is 5 seconds clear of, well, he's not 5 seconds clear of anyone, he's 12 seconds clear of Nathan Healy, and he is 5.1 seconds behind Evan Naylor. And you have to say, the top 3 in this race driving incredibly consistently. Evan just driving his own race entirely. I don't think he's overtaken a single person. He's just gone from P3 to P3 to P3. Did he start in P3? I think he might have done. He certainly started on the second row of the grid as Johnny McMullen from second place has gone off on the exit of turn 6, and what sort of calamities has happened there? Has he made a similar mistake as Evan Naylor just about avoids him there in the green Lamborghini? What has happened to Johnny McMullen? He's been driving so consistently all race. Was it just a momentary lapse of concentration, or was there something more at play? And you can see the Ferrari car there has been, oh goodness me, look at the amount of steering lock. He's having to use 90 degrees of steering to turn, well, to go in a straight line, which is certainly not what you want in any car. And that Ferrari has really been in the wars today. And, well, I mean, it's very disappointing for, oh goodness me, Damien McMullen spun as well. So it's all action here on minute 34 out of 40 at Laguna Seca. And Damien McMullen been passed by Rob Parks, but he will get the position back as he passes Johnny McMullen in the pit lane. I can imagine McMullen is going to be in there for quite a while. And, well, that Ferrari went hard into the wall on the exit of 6, and that's going to take a fair amount of repairing from the mechanics. I think we have a replay of it here that we can show you, just to analyse what exactly went wrong for Johnny McMullen, who's now occupying 8th place. You can see as he comes through turn 6, he just gets on the dust, gets in the gutter, and maybe dips the tyre into the gravel ever so slightly. And then you can see slow motion, just to make it more dramatic. He's hard into the wall, actually morphing through the wall there, completely smashed out the rear windscreen and massively damaged the front left corner of that Ferrari. And the wing of that Ferrari certainly not looking in good shape, but I'm not sure where is he now. He's probably down in P10 or P11 at this stage, as Rob Parks is 19 seconds, well, just nearly 20 seconds behind Ronan Doherty, who is now occupying P3 after Johnny McMullen's demise. And he has Damien McMullen 1.2 seconds behind him as he's run ever so slightly wide, as has Damien McMullen there, but he seems to have kept it all together on the exit of turn 9, which is, well, I mean, it's remarkable driving that they both managed to stay in a straight line, but I mean, that could have been a great opportunity for Damien McMullen to gain some time back on Parks, but alas, it just wasn't to be. But he seems to have closed the gap even despite his slight error there at turn 9, and coming down into turn 2, he is 0.6 of a second behind Rob Parks, and then he's got Keith McLaughlin behind him, 1.1 seconds back, and McLaughlin's going to be looking at this and thinking, oh, I can get something out of this here if I play my cards right. Or more specifically, if Rob Parks and Damien McMullen play their cards wrong, and they just might as they come up to lap Andrew Murphy, who is not getting out of the way through turn 4. When is he going to move over? Place your bets now, folks, because he's not doing it at turn 5. Will he do it into turn 6? Or will Damien McMullen go for a move into turn 5? He certainly will, but it won't pay off. He's going to be trying to go side by side with Parks coming up towards turn 6. All of this could have been avoided if Murphy got out of the way, but he hasn't, and it's leading to some fantastic racing. So Andrew, keep doing what you're doing, please, as we now ride on board with Rob Parks as he comes up to the corkscrew. He's going to be all eyes in that rear view mirror, monitoring Damien McMullen as Andrew Murphy has spun off in front of Rob Parks. That could have taken him by surprise and sent him into an error, but he's just about kept control of the situation. And Damien McMullen, oh goodness me, what's happened to Parks? He's going ever so slowly now on the exit of turn 9. What has happened to him there? Is he, with 3 minutes left to go, has he run out of fuel? Has he got a puncture? Who knows at this stage with Rob Parks? He seems to have got back up to speed now, so I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a technical error with his sim. But he's lost two positions, and Keith McLaughlin is going to be looking for a move up the inside of Damien McMullen. Is it going to pay off? No, it's not, coming into turn 2. It's a very difficult move to get done, especially with Damien McMullen, who seems to be very defensive into turn 2. And now as they come through turn 3, Rob Parks is going to be probably questioning life decisions as we come through into turn 4 now, running in P4 and then going down right the way to P6 after, well, I mean, what I assume to be no fault of his own. It looked like he either ran out of fuel or maybe had a technical error with his pedals or something, because he started going very slowly and then he pulled off to the side. So, I mean, that would indicate that there was something wrong with the power delivery, be it in the sim or be it in his sim. As we are still looking at Keith McLaughlin, the number 5 runner. Well, he's not the number 5 car, but he is the number 5 runner. He's in the number 9 Ferrari, the blue, white and black liveried car, which is a traditional livery, but it certainly works on the eyes as they come through turn 10 now. All nice and calm. Cool, calm and collected from Keith as we come on to... my brain has just stopped working there. 39 minutes and 20 seconds now as they come across the line. It is Ender Farrell from Evan Naylor, Ronan Doherty in P3 coming up from last place. Keith McLaughlin there getting very squirmy on the entry curb to turn 2, using all of the steering lock. Goodness me, he might have some splitter damage or something, or his front tyres are just going off very, very quickly indeed. Anyways, Ronan Doherty, then we have Damien McMullen occupying P4, in front of Keith McLaughlin, and then Rob Parks with his technical issues. He's just in front of Nathan Healy. I'm not sure how Healy has ended up back in P7, but potentially a very slow stop there, or he's had an incident of his own. I'm not quite sure, but he is down in P7, and TJ Baker, I don't know what's happened to him either, but he's right the way down in P8. So, I mean, it's remarkable stuff as Keith McLaughlin has gone off from 5th He's gone off from 5th at turn 6, the corner that causes absolute chaos here, and he's been passed by Nathan Healy and Rob Parks, and he is right the way down in 7th place now, and the 40-minute mark has been reached, and Keith McLaughlin from P5 to P7, it was set to be a fantastic finish for him, but he's thrown it away in the final few laps of the race, and well, he is going to be absolutely kicking himself for that one there. And well, I mean, he's still in with a chance of taking the position back from Nathan Healy. He's only a second back, and well, with one mistake from Healy, that could be a P6 finish for McLaughlin. Although it is safe to say that Nathan Healy has drove a fairly consistent race up to this point, only having one incident that demoted him down the pack from P4, I want to say he started at, and I'm not sure whether that was an incident or if it was just a very slow pit stop. I would presume the former, because, well, I mean, if it was surely if he were to make a pit stop, it would be the same time or the same length as anyone else. As we look at Ender Farrell, who comes across the line and he is chasing down. I'm not sure why the race hasn't finished yet, but I think it started at about, well, probably around a minute and 30 seconds in, because the clock seemed to start counting as soon as we started following behind the safety car. So some very interesting timings there from iRacing, but we won't dilly-dally with that. We are looking at Ender Farrell, the race leader of nearly 17 seconds, who is chasing down TJ Baker, who is running in P8. A lapped car, as we now have Evan Naylor and Ronan Doherty, who are running in P2 and P3 respectively, and this could be an incredibly exciting battle in the final few laps of the race. Ronan Doherty is all over the back. There's less than 1/10 of a second between them. Ronan Doherty up the inside at turn 5. Surely it's not going to work out for him. It's still side by side on the exit. The green Logitech Lamborghini and the Red Bull BMW coming through turn 6 shot. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Evan Naylor completely spun round by Ronan Doherty, and Ronan Doherty's waiting for him, which is an incredible act of sportsmanship there. They're going to lose quite a bit of time to Ender Farrell in front, but I mean, they have quite a gap behind them. No, they do. Oh yes, they do. Never mind. That's Mark Ivory, who's lapped, so he's not going to be causing any problems whatsoever. And, well, you have to say it's fantastic to see Ronan Doherty, well, not spinning out. That's not fantastic to see Ronan spinning anyone out. But it is great to see him waiting for Evan Naylor as we ride on board with Rob Parks, who has been absolutely had by Nathan Healy coming up towards the corkscrew. He seemed to be a little bit wiggly on the exit of turn 6 as we now ride on board with Ronan Doherty, who is trying to lap Mark Ivory once again, and he's completed that with quite a bit of ease. As we come on to, it is the white flag lap, so the penultimate lap of the race, the second to last lap, and well, I mean, this is looking to be a fantastic battle emerging once again between P2 and P3, a second between them as they come through the first sector through turn 3. Well, there's slightly more of a second between them now, slightly more than a second, I should say. Learn English, Simon. As they come through turn 4, not sure if Ronan Doherty is going to be pestering Evan Naylor too much after the shenanigans at turn 6. I have to say it was a very ambitious move from Ronan Doherty, one that probably wouldn't have paid off in any situation, but well, I mean, God loves a trier, so I mean, you have to compliment him on that, surely, as he is, well, it would seem that the timing screens have demoted him below Damien McMullen for some reason, as Ender Farrell comes across the line to win a dominant round 2 here at Laguna Seca. It is a fantastic drive for the number 7, yellow and black, I couldn't do colours there for a second, BMW to win from pole, just like Ronan Doherty did. And this could mean, if Ronan Doherty somehow gets in front of Damien McMullen, I think he is in front of Damien McMullen, this is set to put them tied on points with 1 win and 1 third place each for Ender Farrell and Ronan Doherty, as there seems to be someone who's kicked up a bit of dust on the exit of turn 9 in front of Rob Parks. I think it's Nathan Healy, and well, there's not going to be an awful lot of catching to do for him. Keith McLaughlin tries to, oh goodness me, what's this? This is Ronan Doherty and Damien McMullen. Who's got there at the line? I'm not sure who. It's a photo finish, if ever I did see one, between Ronan Doherty and Damien McMullen. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe, just maybe, Ronan Doherty ran out of fuel on the final straight, and we're going to have to wait for the results to come in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what's happened there. It is Damien McMullen who has beaten, who was it? Goodness, I can't remember driver names. You hate to see it from commentators, certainly. Ender Farrell, happy as Larry as he comes across the line, weaving to celebrate his victory. This is going to put the championship in favour of Ender Farrell. Here are the results. Ender Farrell takes gold here at Laguna Seca in front of Evan Naylor in the Lamborghini, and Damien McMullen, by the skin of his teeth, by a bumper, takes third away from Ronan Doherty, who will now be sitting second in the championship by literally milliseconds. He just about beats Nathan Healy to the line. Well, I mean, he didn't just about beat him, but he takes him in the standings at the end of round 2 here. Rob Parks finished in 6th in front of Keith McLaughlin, who was attacking him towards the end. TJ Baker finishes in 8th with Mark Ivory in 9th, and Andrew Murphy with a dismal day down in 10th. And Aaron Ingram was our one and only did not finish car. I do hope you enjoyed this round of the RTA not F3, that was ages ago, RTA GT3 Progression Series here at Laguna Seca. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like and feel free to subscribe to the RTA Virtual Motorsport channel. My name is Simon SNB. There is a link to my channel in the description as ever. Apart from that, join us next time out for round 3, and we will see you all there in the live stream next Tuesday.